What's up, guys? Dan here for BladeReviews.com, back again with another knife review. This time around I'll be taking a look at the Emerson CQC-13, aka the Combat Bowie. And to start us off, I've got some quick specs. So this knife has an overall length of 9 inches. It's got a 3.8 inch long blade, and it weighs 5 ounces. Definitely a larger knife, and to help illustrate that, I've got a couple size comparisons here. First up is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And I've also got a Benchmade Griptilian, a full-size Griptilian. And you can see that the CQC-13 is a bit bigger than both of these knives. And I'd go so far to say that it's a bit badder as well. This is definitely not what I would call a people-friendly knife. Not the knife to bring to the company picnic or to bust out in the post office. It is something that'll scare away the masses, but for the same reason that it does that, I have to admit, it attracts me as an enthusiast of tactical knives. It's just a wicked blade shape, but also quite functional. So you've got an extremely fine tip, a needle-sharp tip, a good amount of belly here, and then just a lot of working edge. This is a knife that you can get a lot accomplished with, so that's quite cool. As far as actual geometry goes, well, you've got a flat grind here. It is V-ground, and the edge happens to be chisel ground. So I believe most, if not all, of the Emerson knives have chisel ground edges. So the reason why they do that is to make the knives easier to sharpen, as they are manufactured and marketed primarily for military personnel, and they want something that is serviceable and easy to maintain in the field. So in practice, I found it's actually a very easy knife to sharpen. You just have the one side to deal with, and then you can knock off any burr that forms with a piece of wood or perhaps a strop if you have one, and then you're good to go. So quite easy to sharpen. Steel on this knife is 154 cm, and they give you a pretty thick piece of it here. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, and 154 cm is nothing new to owners of other Emerson knives. I mean, it's the exact same steel that he uses on all of his models, and I happen to be a big fan of 154. It's easy to sharpen, takes a very nice edge, holds onto it for a good amount of time, is reasonably resistant to rust and corrosion, just a good all-around steel. Sure, there's more exotic stuff on the market, but this is a proven steel, and it's very easy to work with, so I think it was a good choice. Let's talk a little bit about the handle here. Once again, you've got a formula to all these Emerson knives, and this just follows it. You've got like a medium high traction black G10 here, full stainless steel liner, partial black G10 backspacer, titanium locking liner. Everything is held together with Phillips head screws here, and then you've got a flathead pivot screw as well. So that's nothing new. I will say that the level of fit and finish on this knife is extremely high, which is kind of interesting because sometimes the Emerson knives can be a little bit of a hit or miss in the fit and finish department. You know, sometimes the backspacer won't exactly line up with the handle scales, or you'll see some little tooling marks on the liners. In this case, it's just been beautifully done. One of the nicer Emersons that I've owned, and just a lot of you can tell a lot of attention to detail went into this knife, so that's very cool to see. In terms of actual performance, the CQC-13 feels really good in hand. You can tell. Spent a lot of time also on the ergonomics here from the design. It just feels great. You've got a nice large handle, relatively wide and comfortable, so just plenty of room. Got a nice little finger choil, thumb ramp with some jimping, kind of standard stuff there, but it all comes together and makes for an exceedingly comfortable knife. Also works well in reverse grip. Good to see, especially if you're going to press this one into like a combat or tactical role, something that I personally have not done, but comforting to know that you could do that if you needed to. So there you go. Ergonomics are pretty good. Let's talk a little bit about the pocket clip here, and that is just right out of the Emerson parts bin. What you've got is a Parkerized matte black stainless steel clip mounted for right side tip-up carry only, and I kind of wish they would allow for ambidextrous carry. In fact, I really do wish, because that would be nice to see just right out of the factory, although you can't send this back in for that or just buy a left-handed version, but it would be nice to get a little more versatility out of the knife just straight out of the box. In terms of actual carry, this is a pretty comfortable knife considering it is big and wide. For 5 ounces, you get a lot of knife here, so I don't have any problem with the weight, and I don't really have a problem with the way the knife carries either. It's been quite good. You'll notice that it's not an ultra deep carry pocket clip. That allows you to access the knife easily, make use of the wave deployment feature, which is of course, the Emerson is credited as the inventor and holds the patent to the Emerson deployment feature or wave opening feature, and it allows you to automatically deploy the blade as you remove the knife from your pocket. So that's very cool, and it works quite well, as you would expect. So if you don't want to use the wave, well, you've also got this ambidextrous thumb stud here, and or thumb disc rather, and it takes a little bit of wrist action, but I'm able to use the thumb disc without issue, and that's nice. So you do have the option. Sometimes it's not appropriate to wave open your almost 4-inch long blade on your CQC-13 here, so I'm glad that they gave you that choice. Let's talk a little bit about the lockup. I guess we'll open it one more time, and I'll show you the titanium liner lock here, and you can see it engages, I'd say fairly early, more of a mid lockup at this point, but nice and sturdy. There isn't any real blade play in this one. Occasionally a little bit of side to side will develop, and what you do is you just kind of turn this pivot screw a bit, and it's nice and big, easy to get at, so you can even use your thumbnail or a small coin, pocket tool, a multi-tool rather, and you can tune that pivot screw without any issue, and you're going to have a pretty solid lockup, at least I have. And the blade centering is quite nice in this one too. This is a really pretty well done CQC-13 here. So it's been a lot of fun owning this one, and I've really enjoyed it. And like I said, pretty much runs through all the features of the knife, most of the things that I wanted to say, I think. As far as final thoughts go, well, I have to admit, I do recommend this knife. I was drawn to it from the beginning. I've always loved the blade shape of the CQC-13, and it was only a matter of time before one passed through my hands, and it's been a real treat getting to carry this one around and use it. As for fans of Emerson knives, I think this is a no-brainer. You know, if you happen to like the design and you've got like $200 to spend on it, well, I don't think you'll be disappointed. For people who are new to the brand, perhaps contemplating the CQC-13 as their first Emerson knife, well, once again, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I've actually been very happy with this knife. I know Emerson knives have their quirks. They're not for everybody, but if you can get around that, if you are a fan and do like some of the things that make Emerson knives unique, well, I think you'll like the CQC-13. So if you have any comments or questions, guys, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, Dan for BladeReviews.com. Take care. I'll be back soon with another knife review.